Remember when liberals and the left were concerned about massive multinational corporations and big pharma and were complaining about the cost of drugs, but now all of a sudden they're in complete defense of Pfizer, an organization that has been fined, to the tune of billions of dollars for what is described as criminal activities, I believe, reportedly. Let's not make sure to anger any lawyers here, but I'll pull up the DOJ reports on this one. I love this story. Last week, we've got Project Veritas dropping this earth-shattering story. Bravo to Project Veritas. I love what they're doing. I'm a big fan of Project Veritas. They get this guy in a candid situation, and he says several things. Okay? He says they're exploring mutating the virus so they can preemptively make vaccines. It's a cash cow, etc. When James O'Keefe confronts this guy, he then goes off. I was just lying, trying to get a date. Maybe. Totally maybe. I'm not coming out here saying that Project Veritas met a guy in a parking garage at 2 a.m. who kicked over a manila envelope to him that he ran and opened up, and he has the hard document saying Pfizer's doing gain-of-function research. I'm saying, why is it that you got a guy who does work there, a director, bragging about a thing they may do? That's it. That's all it is. 25 million views on this Project Veritas video. That's it. I ain't saying anything else. Neither is James. The media certainly is. They're saying, did Project Veritas prove Pfizer's mutating viruses? You see, that's a false question because Project Veritas isn't claiming that. Veritas is saying, we got a guy saying this. That is opening the door to ask these questions. Okay, on to the main story here. The media is going off the rails to try and poo-poo this story. I shouldn't say it like that because mostly they're not covering it, but a couple fact checks dropped where they're like asking that question. And it's a silly question because it's not the question that should be asked. The question that should be asked is, why did this guy say they do a thing they've been accused of doing? Okay. Maybe he was lying. He's a gay man who's on a date with another man, and he's lying to this guy to try and get laid. That's what some people have said. This man was bloviating so that he could try and get laid. Okay, now, let me just add, in what reality does someone go on a date and be like, you want? I know what'll impress you. You want to hear about all the corporate malfeasance I'm involved in? It's like, what? That's gonna get you laid? You know what, man? Far be it from me to claim I know what goes through people's mind, going through people's mind when they're trying to get some. You know what I'm saying? But the story that we have is actually fairly interesting. Zachary Levi sparks Twitter controversy over claim that Pfizer is a danger to the world. Hardcore agree. People are tweeting at him. They're saying, like, we need Mark Ruffalo to stage an intervention. Don't promote anti-vax. What? Okay, first of all, Zachary Levi plays Shazam in the Shazam movies. And we know that they brought James Gunn in for the DC movies. And I guess he's firing everybody. So maybe Zachary Levi is just like, I'm out. Don't care. Pfizer sucks. Dude, Zachary Levi is probably a liberal guy. He's probably been around for a long time. He probably remembers exactly like I do 10 years ago when everybody on the left was screaming that Big Pharma's bad. Now, all of a sudden, they're like, please don't insult our Big Pharma overlord, Zachary Levi. What's wrong? Are you kidding me? Now, to be fair, Zachary Levi retweeted a guy who claims to, or has a quote where it's like he's been accused of spreading anti-vax stuff. So they may be looking at that being like, don't retweet these people or whatever. But I got the receipts, ladies and gentlemen. I got the receipts where Pfizer's been accused of and pleaded guilty to a variety of things in which they've paid copious sums of money. I mean, some would describe this as a criminal organization. Or at the very least, I have a question. When a human being commits a serious crime, defrauding people, they go to prison. They cease to contribute to the economy. Let's say that you are a baggage handler. There you go. And you punch a guy in the face. You get arrested. While you're in jail, you ain't handling no bags. That means you are removed from the equation. The work you do no longer plays a factor. Now, why is it when Pfizer gets criminally charged, they just keep on operating as if nothing happened? No, shouldn't we put the corporation in jail? Shouldn't we be like, we are suspending operations? And don't give me that, but people have jobs and people need money. It's not their fault, my guy, my friends. If you work if you work at a club and they're doing something illegal, they come and shut the club down. If you work at a dance club and they're selling drugs out the back door, they will shut down your club and everyone gets fired. Why does Pfizer get a special exemption? They do. You're a small business, you get the chopping block. Let's say, well, there's just too many employees. It's too bad for the economy. People are going to lose their house. Well, maybe because we're unwilling to take action against massive multinational corporations that are committing crimes, they keep doing it. Well, let me show you what happens here. And shout out to Zachary Levi. He's going to be in that Shazam movie that's coming out. I think he did a great job. Chuck and Shazam star Zachary Levi brewed a social media storm after expressing his distrust from the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer in a tweet Sunday morning. The controversy began when Levi retweeted a question from Morehouse Group CEO Lyndon Wood, who questioned his followers, "Do you agree or not that Pfizer is a real danger to the world?" Levi replied to the question, "Hardcore agree." You know what, Zachary? I think you do I'm a big fan. You do a fantastic job as Shazam. I love those. I love that movie. I'm looking forward to the next one. And you are correct. Agree. The brief comment stirred intense backlash from left-leaning Twitter accounts attacking the actor for disappointing them after supporting anti-vax propaganda. He didn't say anything about the vaccine. Are you nuts? There's other pharmaceutical companies that make vaccines. You know, these people are crazy. Look at this guy. Marcelo Soares says, okay, one less movie ticket to spend money on. Stupid. Blocked for disappointing nonsense. Are you kidding me? Suckling the tea to Pfizer of all companies? Max Kennerly says, for your own sake, please call Mark Ruffalo and beg him to help you understand how celebrities can be outspoken critics of corporate America, Big Pharma, and even Pfizer, specifically without paying into anti-vax propaganda. Dude literally didn't say anything about the vaccines. Okay? You weirdos. Matt Whalert. Mark Ruffalo, I know it's a DC and I know it is DC and Marvel, but could we do some sort of intervention? Rasmus says, here I was actually kind of excited for your movie, but nah, I'm not supporting you now. All right, then now is the inverse. Jacob Airy says, glad to see Hollywood waking up. Dominic Riccitello, ignore the comments from the morons. Huff says, plenty of physicians agree with you, bro. A couple of years, everybody will pretend they always mistrusted Pfizer. You know, I think that's correct. Look at this guy, Miguel Lozada says, DCU PR team currently. And they're like, WTF did he just say? Maybe the real issue is that Zachary Levi knows he's fired anyway because they're getting rid of all this stuff. So this is Lyndon Wood. He says, do you agree or not that Pfizer is a real danger to the world? 4.1 million views of this tweet. Uh-oh. How many followers does Zachary Levi have? He's got 653,000. Let's take a look at his engagement to see, you know, what kind of... Oh, March 17th, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I'm looking forward to that movie. I thought the first Shazam movie was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I kind of didn't like how they did the Shazam family thing. Like, everybody's got powers, but sure, fine, whatever. Just posted a photo. Oh, man, look at this. Look at this, Zachary Levi with the slam dunk. Just one example of what I'm referring to. And we got it, baby. Justice Department announces largest healthcare fraud settlement in its history. Pfizer to pay $2.3 billion for fraudulent marketing. 2009. Let me see. Is that the what he tweeted? Yes, right. He tweeted the exact thing. Dude, bravo to Zachary Levi. Bravo. 5 times August says, and the same people responsible for this in 2009 are the same people in charge at Pfizer now. Here. Dan McCoy says, that's not what people think about when they see Pfizer as dangerous, and you know it. So what? Dude? People are going to think a whole lot of things. I don't know what they're thinking about. All I know is we can make statements that are true or our opinions that we believe are true. And then if someone's like, I thought you meant something different, it's like, well, dude, look, I tried. Like, I certainly think that we should try and be as clear as possible in conveying our ideas. So if you get some crackpot leftist who thinks the word white supremacy means like law and order, and someone says white supremacy is bad, you got to understand what they're saying. You can't just come out and be like, yeah, I agree. You know, like the understanding a sane human being has when they think of white supremacy is like a Klan rally. Yeah, no, we're not fans of that stuff. That's bad, okay? And people who think that because of their race, they're better than other people. Nah, you're wrong. That's just stupid. Like, I certainly think, and we talked about this on a Timcast IRL episode, certainly think that, nature versus nurture, they have their places. But these racists, nah, we're no fans of that. We're no fans of that. But of course, what the left is actually saying is rule of law. That's what they mean by white supremacy. They mean, and I'm not kidding, there's the Smithsonian thing said working hard, saving for the future, keeping a schedule. That's white supremacy. And I'm like, so you're literally advocating for what? Like sleeping in late, not doing work and just getting instant gratification? That's what you think is white supremacy? They do. They do. So here's the point. We do want to try and be as clear as possible. But if Zachary Levi gives a little tiny tweet where he's just like, yeah, here's what I'm saying, then that's it. Look, I mean, you can't just assume something totally different from what he's saying. These people live in a crackpot world where everyone's an anti-vaxxer and any criticism is anti-vax. And so when he comes out and says they're bad, everyone's like, you're talking about the vaccines. And he's like, I'm quite literally talking about this. He posts it. And then what do they say? Nobody thinks that's what you're talking about, and you know it. Oh, come on, dude. I don't think Zachary Levi is some anti-vaxxer crackpot. This is just so dumb. Let's talk about what Pfizer's on about. Actually, let's do this. List of largest pharmaceutical settlements. Hey, how about this one? Here we go. 2012, GlaxoSmithKline. $3 billion. Criminal off-label promotion. Failure to disclose safety data. Civil, paying kickbacks to physicians, making false and misleading statements concerning the safety of Avandia, reporting false best prices, and underpaying rebates in the Medicaid drug rebate program. Heavens, mercy me. That's crazy. That's a crime. Crimes. Mercy. But it's GlaxoSmithKline. Fine. Hey, Pfizer coming in at a close second with $2.3 billion. Violations, off-label promotion, and kickbacks. We then got Johnson & Johnson, who apparently didn't learn any lessons from the other criminal fines. And 2013, $2.2 billion off-label promotion and kickbacks. 2012, man, these people don't learn any lessons, do they? Abbott Laboratories off-label promotion. Eli Lilly. You got Tap Pharmacy. Oh, look at this. All of this money. Oh, heavens. There's so much AstraZeneca. This is just crazy. Why Pfizer in 2004 for off-label promotion? They didn't get it the first time. You find them $430 million and they go and do it again 5 years later. In fact, I'll tell you this. I bet they never stopped doing it. I bet you find them and they said, cost of business, mother, and we're going to keep doing it. Let me tell y'all a story. I used to live in Lakeview, Wrigleyville, in Chicago. Wrigleyville is where Wrigley Field is. And when the Cubs got a game to play and the guys want to come out, the boys, to go watch a baseball game, they got to worry about parking. That's right. And so when you're driving in, what do you see? They got people waving, saying, parking here, $30. Unfortunately, some people, they don't want to show up on time. Maybe they got good seats and they don't care. But you know what? They show up and there's no parking. So do you know what they do? They park illegally. Why? Because the cost of a ticket is cheaper than the cost of parking. You get a $50 parking ticket and you're like, parking was going to cost me $30 anyway. Might as well just park in front of a fire hydrant, pay the city the $50 because they don't tell you for this. If there's a fire, they smash out your windows and run the hose through your car. But there's probably not going to be a fire. People double park, put the blinkers on, and then just think everything will be fine. People would they would box my friends in. So annoying. This is the point. At every level, people have to weigh the cost of the penalties versus the cost of doing business. And if Pfizer was fined $430 million in 2004, here we go right here, $430 million, off-label promotion. They're probably thinking to themselves, okay, how much money did we make from this? Well, I got to be honest, the legal fees, the total cost of this was about $450 million net negative. But hey, the illegal criminal activity made us $1 billion. There were these guys for a while. They sell these balance wristbands. You ever see those? And they do something called the center of gravity illusion. It's a magic trick. It's a basic children's magic trick. They sell you this plastic garbage and they tell you, wear it. It will improve your core strength and your balance because it's got, ions in it that charge your body up. No fooling. So you go to the mall And they used to do this all over the place. This is like 7, 8 years ago. And they'll say, stand on one leg and put your arms up. And what they do is they will push on your arm and you'll fall over. Well, surprise, surprise, you were standing on one leg that pushed you over. Then they'll say, now watch this. Put the wristband on. You put on the wristband, you do the same thing, and now when they start pulling on your arm, ooh, they can't knock you over. Your balance is perfect. How could it be? Certainly, to the layman, that wristband must be making you a lot stronger. Here's how it works in reality. If you tell someone, this is a metric you can do, try it. Tell someone to stand on one leg and put their arms out. And then whatever foot is lifted, that's the arm you want to put your hand on, and you want to push slightly down and to the right. This will topple them over very easily. Then take your majestic and magic, what is this one? Is this mammoth pen, and say, this is magic powers. Hold it, and then let them hold it. Then tell them to do the same thing. This time, with the same arm, you push slightly inward into their center of gravity, into their core, and lo and behold, they will feel you pushing down, but they won't fall over. It's a slight angle change, pushing into their center of gravity, and that's the trick. Now, the reason I bring this up is that these companies kept getting fined by the FTC, saying, you cannot do this, you're defrauding people. But it was the company, not the individuals. So my understanding of this back, because this is years ago, and I wasn't following the story too heavily, because I saw them at a mall once, and I was like, what is this? This is a trick. This is an illusion. They would get fined millions of dollars, but they already made 15. So they would say, it's the cost of doing business. That's it. They'd say, okay, we made 15 million this year, and we got fined 10. 5 million in the bank. Perfect. They would create a new version under a different name, under a different company, and do the same thing. It's not just them. They do this kind of trash all the time because they don't shut down these companies. Or if they do, they pop back up and say cost of doing business until there are criminal charges. And I think, look, how much you want to bet there's okay, no, there's just Pfizer in here twice. They don't learn their lesson, I guess. That's the amazing reality. Here we go. Justice Department, largest ever healthcare fine. Then we got this one. Pfizer pleads guilty, but drug sales continue to soar. It's incredible, man. Pfizer, the world's largest drug maker, pleaded guilty on the 13th of May to numerous civil and criminal charges. This is off-label use of gabapentin. Was this what they did in 2004? Is that where we? Let me see. Nope, that was Neurontin. Apparently, they did it twice in 1 year. The only reason we don't see that other story on this list is because the fine was a lot less. That's amazing. Look at that. Vaccine hesitancy is listed in the same page on Wikipedia's list of largest pharmaceutical settlements. Pfizer's $2.3 billion, $3.5 billion equivalent settlement, including a record-breaking $1.3 billion criminal fine. Amazing. One of the largest fines ever. So Zachary Levi is a correct individual. Pfizer pleads guilty. May 22nd, 2004. Here's my proposal. At these companies, when they engage in this, you fine them criminally and civilly, pay restitution to the victims, and whatever that may be, and then the individuals that signed off on the criminal action should be incarcerated. Now, maybe that was the case, I guess, in this, but I don't think that they actually put anybody in prison over this stuff. They just pay the fines. And then it ends up being just like, oh, well, we didn't know it was an accident. Oh, it's one big machine. No individual really signs off on this. It's just a bunch of different people, and it all adds up. In which case, we cannot permit these massive corporate entities to commit crimes that we all agree are crimes and then say, well, keep doing your thing. I think when Pfizer is charged criminally, they should be incarcerated. Sorry. And if you work for a criminal institution, that's your problem. I don't care. I mean it. Innocent until proven guilty. The charges can be levied against any corporation, Pfizer or otherwise. You get your day in court. If convicted, we say we're putting a 3-year suspension on operations for this company. And they'll say, but that will destroy us. Yeah, 3 years in prison would destroy any person too. But what about the economy? You see, that's the problem. And this is the truth about this country and the world that y'all need to understand. There are people who commit crimes, and then for some reason they don't go to prison. Why? CEOs, executives. The judge has to weigh the economic damage to a town. Imagine there's a city, and they have one big factory, and it employs 300 people in that town. And then an executive at this company, drives drunk. I guarantee you, when the judge is considering this, they're going to have lobbyists being like, if this man gets locked up, the entire town is dead, and you know it. And they say, I know. Fine. And they'll say, you seem remorseful, sir. We're going to give you only probation for this one. Don't do it again. But if you're poor and you don't matter, then you're a threat to these companies. And that's when the judge says, how dare you in my town? Bangs the gavel. Everybody knows. That's just how it goes. Everybody knows the dice is loaded. Everybody knows the fight was fixed. There's logic behind it. Can we shut down one of the largest corporations in the world, employing probably hundreds of thousands of people? That could destroy the economy completely. But it's an insane prospect that these companies, these massive pharmaceutical companies, can break our laws and suffer no consequences. Hopefully the $1 billion fines were enough. Hopefully the stockholders get really, really angry, and then there's some leadership change, but apparently there isn't. They say, well, cost of doing business. In fact, I'm willing to bet they go to their shareholders and say, well, we were fined $2.3 billion for criminal actions. Just know that we made $3.5 billion because of it, so it's a net profit. We consider that the cost of doing business. Congratulations, you made money. And then who's going to complain? Yeah, no, we can't function like that. Shout out to Zachary Levi for this one. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all then.